Good evening, bonsoir, bienvenue à la réunion plénière du 14 août. Welcome to the Committee of the Whole on August 14th. Ms. Parker, do we have any declaration of conflict of interest?
There were no conflicts of interest declared.
Perfect. We have a presentation. Nous avons une présentation. We have a presentation from Coffin Crescent, Residence by Hervé Arsenault. Monsieur Arsenault?
Bonsoir.
Vous avez le micro.
OK. Monsieur et Madame les conseillers, conseillères, Madame la mairesse, bonsoir. Merci de nous accueillir ce soir pour nous donner la chance de vous demander de réparer la rue Coffin. Aujourd'hui, moi, c'est Hervé Arsenault, c'est ça, puis je représente les résidents de la rue Coffin, puis les propriétaires de différents appartements aussi. Puis la rue Coffin, comme que vous avez probablement vu, là, on va voir tantôt sur les photos, là, elle est finie, là. Puis, just to give you a quick history, the street was built late 70s probably. As a kid, I had friends on Fleet Crescent. I would go around. It was already built mid 80s. There was just a few houses. Our company, we started building in 1993, so 30 years ago this year. And there's been no repairs done over the past 40-some years that it's been paved there. Over the past, probably 6-7 years ago, the city is now completely built. There's no empty lots or anything like that, so it's completely full. It's very dense, lots of houses and apartments. We have 50 families that live on Coffin Crescent. Plus, we have some people from Victoria that use the street for the community mailboxes. And we think it's time that at least it would be resurfaced. We've been told by certain people at the city that probably the pipes inside down below are done also, and it may be very expensive to fix it. If that's the case, we suggest that maybe you start fixing at least part of the street right away. If you are not ready to do the pipes, we'll be fine with a complete resurface. And then when you have down the road, if you feel the pipes need to be redone in 10, 15, 20 years, you can do them then. The pipes, they don't bother us too much, but it's the resurface. If you look at the pictures, you can see this is just a section, probably the nicest part of the street right there. It's full of it's complete. 80%, 90% of it is just the patches, and it's an eyesore. The residents that are here that are supporting me tonight, they're proud people. They have very beautiful homes. Everybody's keeping their yards in a very neat manner. But when we come home, when we have visitors coming, this is what they have to see. And so it's an eyesore. It's not fun for us that need to use the street every day. And it's also dangerous. We have some residents that are in wheelchairs. They can't use the street. We have many seniors that would like to walk. Some walk and they're afraid they're going to fall. Some don't even dare go out for a walk. It's full of potholes, and you don't know if you're going to be missing a step or something like that. And if you go around town, it's probably the worst in the city. I know there's challenges. We live in the north, and it's really hard to keep the streets pretty for a long time. But we believe this one should be on your top priority for next year. And like I was saying, if you can't do it all at once, maybe do half the street next year and half the next. There's all kinds of ways we're not asking that everything is done this fall. We know there's things that need to be planned, but we would very like the work to start at least next year. If you can't do the pipes, a resurface would be would be what we ask for.
Perfect. I have a question for Mr. Pettigrew. Mr. Pettigrew, have we had a lot of water breaks on that street? Have we had many issues?
Thank you, Worship. I'm actually trying to get into my computer because we have a dashboard that has the road conditions for 2023. They evaluated all the roads this summer as well. And of course, my computer's not working, so I can't, it's on the black screen here, so I can't access it. But part of that would be one of those conditions, depending on the scenario, we have to look at, you know, like you mentioned, if there's some areas that have major water breaks or leaks, we can't pave the street and then keep digging it up. We would look at repairing it in sections to make sure we don't inconvenience of pave it and then dig it up in the summer 3 or 4 times or whatever in the winter. So it's not working here, it doesn't have access, but definitely would be something the engineering department would review and determine based on their analysis of the best way to move forward for the residents and for the city to repair it. So
We don't know what's underneath.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
you can see, even on this picture, you can see there's one place that has been dug up. I think there might be 2 places, but for 40-some years, 2 places is not bad. There have been a few breaks on individual properties where it didn't touch the street at all. So that can happen too. And we know if it's, there might be issues, but if the pipes need to, we don't know that.
Yeah.
If you find the pipes need to be redone, and you can't do it all at once, it's 390 some meters. It's not very.
I was just going to ask that question. How long is it? 390 meters? Okay.
390, which is what I figured. It's not very long, but it's very dense. I'm sure you can't find a street in Bathurst that's denser than this. Apart from some places where you have big apartment buildings, 3 or 4 stories, but just the one-level houses, you won't find any place in Bathurst that has 50 households in 394 meters. So it's one of the densest places, all built, and it's been like that for 40, 50 years. So.
What I can tell you, and I really appreciate that you're here. J'apprécie vraiment que vous êtes ici pour discuter pour la rue. C'est certain que c'est important. We have hundreds of kilometers of streets within the city of Bathurst, but one good news is I can tell you is that the city has purchased its own machine to recycle, pave, and repave. And I don't know if you've had a chance to go through Basin Road. That was city employees that were able to do that this past year, as well as a huge portion on St. Mary's Avenue. So what I can tell you is we will definitely take the street, add it to our priority list because we are doing budget for 2024 moving forward. Cannot say this would happen this year, but definitely put it on priority list. We can follow up with you, Monsieur Harvey, if you don't mind. And then what we can do from there is we'll try to find out from engineering how many water breaks they've had. And I'll use Chaleur Street as an example. So you know where Tim Hortons is, right after there's the Chaleur Street. That one we've had major water breaks for quite a few years and quite a few throughout the winter. So we've applied for funding on that one to try to get the street fixed. Just to cover the water, the sewer, and the paving, we're over $3 million. So it's a very expensive intake that the city cannot do on its own because there was an announcement not long ago. We are going to finish the rest of Saint Anne from St. Peter's and Chaleur. And just those 2 small pieces, and Chaleur is not that long, it's $5.3 million. So unfortunately, things are so expensive, and that's why I was wondering about the water break. Because if we don't have any major water breaks, then we can, you know, with council and the agreements and look within the budget, and if they can add it to the crew of recycling and repatching themselves, as opposed to having put in brand new patching, and try to save it until we can try to do more and redo the water and sewer eventually. But it's not falling on deaf ears. Do know that, and I'm glad that you've brought it tonight so all of council is aware, and that we'll add it to the priority list. I do have a couple of councillors that have questions.
Sure.
We'll start with Councillor Burnett.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Thanks for your presentation. You know, it's such a serious issue. I'm pleased that your presentation was so level-headed and that you came here on a positive note to try to solve this problem. And the mayor said everything I wanted to say. And so,
Sorry, Councillor Burnett.
That's all right, Madam Mayor. So we're going into budgets. It's a good time. And hopefully we can address this.
We understand you have constraints and you have a budget that you have to follow, and we respect that, and we're here respectfully asking for your help in this. And we are not asking that the whole, we know, my family, we're developers, and we know how much it costs to build a foot of street. It's crazy. Thing is, it's going to be more expensive next year. It's going to be more expensive the year after. We're in the very high inflation period right now. And if the pipes, if 5 years from now there's 1 or 2 breaks and they get patched, it'll still be much better if it's been resurfaced and with 2 patches than what we have right now. It'll be much safer also for our residents. One thing I forgot to mention a while ago, we did go door to door for the whole residents. We got virtually 100% of the streets. They're all behind us, and as you can see, many of them have decided to come and support us in this thing tonight. So,
Thank you.
All right. Conseiller Leblanc.
Merci. Merci, Monsieur Arsenault. Same. They pretty much said everything I wanted to say, but I still want to reiterate, thank you for coming and presenting this. This isn't a street I personally take often. Would not have been aware if you had not showed up tonight that this street was in this type of disarray. So I can pretty much assure you that, we're all going to support this and put this on the priority list. And I'm not going to repeat everything the mayor said, but yeah, we thank you for bringing this, making us aware of the situation.
On a conseiller Willett.
Merci, Madame la mairesse. On a nos employés qui ont commencé à faire du pavage eux autres mêmes, puis ils sont rendus vraiment efficaces à la situation. On a fait West Drive, on a fait Bellevue, on a fait Middle River, on a fait
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's. Ça fait que c'est quelque chose que si on n'est pas obligé de toucher l'infrastructure en tour, puis on est juste obligé de paver, c'est quelque chose qui est une possibilité de faire.
ouais, nous autres, on sera très satisfaits avec ça.
Oui.
On a un résident, là, il n'est pas venu ce soir, il est en chaise roulante. Puis c'est un problème pour lui, c'est du côté sécuritaire. C'est certain que juste le resurfaçage, on sera très heureux, nous autres.
Parfait.
Merci pour votre présentation.
Merci, puis on va vous ajouter certainement. C'est pris au sérieux.
Merci beaucoup. Thank
Merci.
you very much.
We have another presentation. On a une deuxième présentation. Mise à jour de l'étude de faisabilité du centre aquatique et le plan principal des loisirs par Sylvain Lagacé. So Aquatic Center Feasibility Study and Recreation Master Plan Update by Sylvain Lagacé. Monsieur Lagacé.
Bonjour. Hi, everyone. Thanks for the introduction, Madam Mayor. I'll just let everyone leave. Is it me or? All right, so thanks for having me. I'm here. My name is Sylvain Lagacé, an architect with Clad Inc. here in town. I'm here on behalf of our team. So we have a basically collaboration with John Hack of Sierra Planning that has, I think he's working on a feasibility study, recreational study, and part of that is a feasibility study for the aquatic center. So be ourselves, of course, John Hack, Sierra Planning, Phil was Fennec, who's lead architect of Perkins and Will. They have a lot of pool experience, so they're part of the team as well, and as well as CBCL, an engineering firm that's looking after the engineering side of this. So basically, we're here today just to give you, well, I'm here today just to give you an update on the feasibility study and where we are now, or what has been done to date. So just a quick outline of presentation. So basically, we're going to go through the process of what exactly we're doing. Second, the engagement activities that were undertaken, a summary of the outcomes of those activities. We're going to go through just a brief idea of what modern aquatic facilities should look like, some concept options that we have put together, and the next steps for this study. All right, and obviously if there's any questions, just chime in there and let me know there. So and we'll have a question period at the end as well. So basically, that's the process. First part is the community needs and concept rationale. So basically, we're trying to figure out what the community wants, what they would be looking for in the future aquatic facilities, assuming we would look at replacing the current aquatic center, and then going through some concepts of, what would make sense. So that part has been done. I'll show you that in a second. Phase 2 is the engagement portion, where we engage essentially the citizens, and that was done through 2 formats. What's to come is phase 3, so concept development and costings, where we basically take the information from what the citizens have told us through the surveys, and we put together essentially a building concept based on one of the 3 options that we're going to present to you tonight, and then do a costing analysis of the chosen option. And the phase 4 is the operational model and performance and reporting. So basically what that's, the idea behind that is to give you a little bit more idea of what the cost of operating that facility would be, so you can make a decision, because depending on what options you choose, there's different costs associated with that. And if you're going to go ahead and, obviously spend a lot of money and do any kind of project, we want to be able to know that we can afford to operate it down the road, right? All right, so here's a quick summary of the engagement activities that we did. The first part was an online survey. It was developed by John and his team. It was online from the end of May to about the end of June, so roughly a month. It was provided in French and English. It was done in collaboration with the city staff as well that helped us develop the question. It was put on the website, and I think Facebook too, that was boosted. So we have about a little over 1,000 response from, say, citizens and stakeholders, and I'll show you where they come from in a little second. And we also had a public stakeholder workshop that was held at the Casey Irving Center, that Paul Willett room, I think there. So anyways, on May 31st, and we had about 50 people there. So there's a bit of a large discussion that was had there as well. So the public survey, as you can see, and I can't read it from here, or barely, anyways, the large portion were citizens of Bathurst, so you get Bathurst, the first section. Bathurst is represented a few times, so I don't know who decided to split, but it's a little bit, it is what it is. So Bathurst, Bell Bay, the second line is Bell Bay, so Beresford, Nigadoo area. The green line is East Bathurst. Then we got South Titigouche, North Titigouche, Big River, so what used to be Bathurst Parish, I guess. And then Bathurst, downtown, and South Bathurst for 9%. Other, don't know where they come from. And then another Bathurst branch, so North Bathurst, Code Bleu subdivision, Yahal Drive. Then Belle Bay, which would be Petit Rocher, Pointe Verte, Madran. And then again, Belle Bay, Dunlop, Robertville, and then about 0.5% of the respondents were from Belledune. So the household composition, so basically there was a question in there about what kind of slice of the population do you represent, and overarchingly is a couple with 1 or more dependent children, or a single parent with 1 dependent child. So basically a lot of families responded to that, so I'll give you an idea of what the cross-section of people that responded. So again, 20% is couple with no dependent children and an adult living, or more than 1 adult sharing residence, extended family, and other. So obviously we got a lot of families interested in this project. So just a quick summary, what people want. Basically, they're looking for lane pools for recreational swimming, mostly, and swimming lessons. Those are the priorities that what we heard from everybody, as much the survey as people at the engagement session at the end of May, with the priorities being leisure pool, so tot pool, therapy pool. So, and I'll go through those later in the preference of 8 lanes, so about 50% of the respondent, that's what they're looking for. Okay, yeah, so basically that's where, so one of the questions were, where would you like to see it? So the new facility, so obviously overwhelmingly was attached to KCI, the Casey Irving. So that was, that sort of guided some of the options that we've put together. It is a good location for that, and and so I'll go through some of the, well, there's some more engagement information there, but one of the key features that made it interesting is it was close to the ice rink, it's close to some restaurant, it's close to one of the high school, close to the highway, so it's accessible to everybody pretty quickly, right? So here's a quick summary. I won't go through everything because there's a lot of information, and basically this is just an update. You guys will get sometimes in October when the engagement process, everything's done, you'll get a full report summary of everything. So there's a few questions that, those are the boards that we use for the March 31st session. So one of the boards was the question on identity. So, you know, what do you want that building to represent for the citizen? So design impressions of the existing building. So what do you think about the existing aquatic center? That had a lot of interesting notes on them. So it was, the aquatic experience. So what are you looking for as far as experience for the pool or aquatic facility? Aquatic trainings and competition. So for any swim team, like what would they be looking for? Spa, saunas, change rooms, so a bit of discussion about that. So the way that engagement session worked, I should have said that before, but basically there's board and question. So we split everybody into groups of 8. There's about 50 people, so we had 8 boards. So they would go around, we'd give them about 20 minutes, and I think some counselors were there, if I'm not mistaken. So anyway, so we'd go around the table, and every 15 minutes or 20 minutes we'd shift. So every group would go through each boards and put their comments on it. So aquatic features, so again, so what would you like to see? So basically, you know, like water slide, do you want a tot pool, do you want like a swing, you know, stuff like that. Site context and location, so basically give us a bit of an idea if we went with the KCI, like what would you like to see location-wise of the building? And we had sort of a sketch that presented an option, so they sort of went pros and cons with that option. And then finally, additional comments. So those are the 8 boards that were presented. So basically the result of that, for us, it allows like our team to draft essentially just an idea of what kind of facility that the citizens are looking for. And basically they want a modern Class A municipal pool. So that in pool design, that's basically an 8-lane pool, 25 meters. We're talking about leisure and a tot pool. So again, so leisure is basically a pool just for families and people not looking to swim, so they can do that a bit concurrently to anybody using the swimming lanes. And then a therapy pool. So we're talking about a facility with essentially 3 basins there. So therapy pool would be accessible, you know, for anybody with like mobility issues, so they can use the pool as well. That's basically it. So yeah, so just general idea of aquatic experience. So, you know, we want something that can be good for fitness and training. Again, therapy, we mentioned. Family recreation was really important, came up a lot. Competitive swimming as well. We have Blast. We have a good swim team, and they were very present at the engagement session and gave us some good comments about that. Water sports is something that people are interested in and want to be able to do and keep doing. Aquatic fitness, obviously we have a lot of people with lower mobility in a different age group that look forward to, well, they already use the facility, but they want to keep doing it. Again, swimming lessons, mostly for kids, but that's always a great training. We do have, I mean, I got 3 kids and they're all going through that same process. So, and then just fun activities in general. So people want to keep the water slides, apparently. So I've never used it, but that's what they want. So out of the comments, what came out, so they're looking for something that is, you know, bright, inviting. They want windows. You know, they're looking for a nice modern facility, and those are just examples of other work that was completed by Perkins and Will. I think that one's in Ontario somewhere. So yeah. All right, so basically that's what the pool, essentially what the pool facilities is looking for. If we break that down into, this is essentially a draft of a program. So program requirements, what kind of space we're looking at. So the lane pool, so basically the lane, the pool, and the tot pool, therapy pool together. We're looking at about a space of about 24,000 square feet. Universal change rooms, that's one of the things that came up. They want to be able to, you know, with families and all that, and not, that came up in the comments as well, so not have to split that. So 6,500 square, roughly 6,500 square feet for the change rooms. Aquatic support, so staff room, officials, director, about 1,000 square feet, so a few administration space there. And administration, so more space for the staff, about 2,000 square feet. Multi-purpose room, so basically think of what we have on the second floor of the aquatic center right now, and then the fitness and dry land training area, so for specifically for swim meets and any type of sport. So multi-purpose room, about 3,000 square feet. Then all the support spaces, about 5,000 square feet, so washroom, lobbies, recycling, mechanical room, etc. For a net total of about 41,000 square feet, and a gross total, so including walls, hallways, and etc., about 52,000 square feet. It's a big building. So, and then the child care suite, that's a discussion that I know you guys are having internally. We added it to the program because we know it's part of the current aquatic facilities. Whether or not it stays there or not, like, they'll have to be determined, but we still have a placeholder for that into the program, and that's whatever the board decides to do at that end. So here's the moment you've all been waiting for. So basically we put together 3 development options. They're all tied to the Casey Irving Center, and we tried to look at 2 different ways of adding to the existing facility. We stuck with that because really overwhelmingly, as you saw from the responses of the survey, that's where people think it should go. But also we have the Casey Irving Center that has an ice plant that is throwing off some heat to create ice, so there's ways to reuse that heat and throw it into the pool. So there's some synergies that can happen there with a bit of work there to the engineering. So obviously from a operation cost point of view, that's a good way to go. So the first option, and I'll just go with the 3 options, and so we basically have 3 options, and then we have sort of a go, no go, or I guess evaluation matrix that we put together internally. So how it fits on the site, what effect it has on the parking, topography, the program experience, how does it fit, like can we do the full program there, future addition, so connections to the KCI, and we'll get into those. I'm sure you'll have questions. Disruption to the existing facility, site services and connection, sustainable synergy, exposure to the community, and electrical integration. And is that sort of it's a bit of an issue there. There's power lines running all around the KCI, so we have to deal with that. So the first option was essentially in front of KCI. What we liked about that option is we're reusing essentially the main entrance for KCI, so people could use that entrance. There's a synergy there with the admin space there as well. The main issue, though, is you're sort of, first you'd have to rejig. There's not a lot of space to do that. Like, it's a fairly big building. You'd have to rejig basically the access going down to the Burning White, I think, entrance to so there's a bit of civil work to do, and the main drawback is it sort of locks you in. So you can't, if you want to add to it later, it's a bit harder, but it is an option that we looked at, because initially, internally, we thought that would have been the best idea. So option 2 is off to the side, so the lower section, lower parking lot to the right of Casey Irving Center. Again, what we liked about that one is we would be able to combine the Burning White entrance with the pool entrance. So instead of going to the side of KCI, you would walk it and go one way towards the basement access to the Burning White, or go right to the pool facility. It brings us a lot closer as well to the ice plant, which is at the back, so it makes the integration a bit easier, and it does allow us some possibility for expansion in the future. The one drawback, though, is it's taking up a lot of parking space, so that's something we'd have to mitigate one way or another. So that one scored, so the first one scored 28 on our internal matrix. Second one scored 37. And the final option that we looked at is on the other side of KCI. So just, yeah, so basically that one, the main interest with that one is you're essentially building a new building, right? It's hard to connect to KC Irving because that's where all the exiting from the ice rink is. And as you know, when the game ends, everybody leaves from those doors. And so it's hard to evaluate for the design team, but there is like a functional impact of when the hockey games end. And we can't reuse the same entrance because we'd cross the path of exit for fire safety. And there's like basically no synergy with the existing facility other than we can use the ice plane. That being said, one of the big advantages is the standalone buildings. A lot easier to integrate with everything else, and because you have a big spot in the back, it leaves you room for expansion if you wanted to look at, I don't know, a field house or whatever. But so does the other one, right? So we leave that open, and it does take up a fair chunk of parking lot that you guys already have. So there's just a nutshell of the three possible development option that we look at. So front, to the left, and to the right. So the next step, so like I said, would be for us to develop costing models for the preferred option. So we're sort of going to be looking for some feedback from you guys on that end, so we can continue some of our work. So we're finding the functional program. So it was very high level, the functional program we put out there. So we have to look at it more in detail, and can we, reuse some of the space in KCI? Like, do you need to manager office? Maybe from a staffing perspective, you guys could coordinate that together. I don't know. Again, work on the operational model for the finances of running. To give you guys help with that. And in the end is the reporting. So the draft and final report, which, like I said, should be in the fall, sometime August, November. That's it. So I apologize in advance for not having the sweet British accent that John Hack does. So, but I knew you got me. So if there are any questions.
Thank you for your presentation. Merci beaucoup. Mr. Pettigrew, we have quite a bit of land at KCI, right? So if we were to take option 2, for example, we can add more parking.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you.
Yeah. If you can put that back up on
Yeah,
there.
sure.
Yeah,
It's just like a bit
if
of-
we could go back yet.
Yeah.
So in
you guys-
option 2, if we were to take, just out of curiosity, if we were able to take option 2, we do have quite a bit of land there that we could add more parking if need be.
Well, yeah, there's some limitations with regards to the locations, but a matter of the whole site has
Yep.
a large number of parking locations and facilities, so,
Yep.
I mean, for me, I'm looking at the metrics when they do an internal one as option 2 as the highest, that meets the highest number of the best options and needs
Yep.
based on all different components. The thing is, there is room there to expand as well, and I'm just thinking here as an engineer now.
Yeah.
So the field house, et cetera, if you go with option number 2, might not necessarily be on the aquatic center. You could
No,
build that-
we probably.
You could build that on the Arena A side, so there could be a smaller portion there. So you look at major part of the aquatic center as one building, and then the other expansions could be different parts of that facility based on where that is, if you want to break that up. If there's a need for that in a plan moving forward with it, so.
They were talking about half. It's a big chunk of parking, but it's when is that? It's usually used during minor hockey. I mean, the kids played hockey, and that's when that parking gets used a lot. Or there's other like a vaccination clinic, or we've seen that get pretty full quickly. But most of the parking is on the other side there. So.
We are lit up a little bit. Conseiller Leblanc.
Merci, Madame la mairesse. Merci, Sylvain. Belle présentation. J'ai hâte de voir le reste. Pour ma part, écoute, c'est simple. Moi, je suis un peu comme Todd. Là. J'aime option 2. Premièrement, j'aime la façon que ça se présente. Ça s'assoit à l'aréna en bas. La terre est déjà là. Ça serait comme égal, si tu veux. J'aime cette section-là. J'aime aussi, comme il dit, parce que c'est à 37 points comparé aux autres de 35 et 28. Ça veut dire que c'est plus facile pour tout le monde. Tu as parlé du daycare. Pour moi, ça, c'est important. On manque de place déjà dans la région. Ça fait que je sais pas qu'est-ce que la discussion qu'il faut avoir autour de ça, comment est-ce qu'on peut regarder ça, mais j'espère qu'on va pouvoir continuer à avoir des places de garderie pour les enfants. Comme je l'ai dit, c'est assez important. déjà qu'on a des problèmes de housing, faudra pas créer plus de problèmes de daycare ou de garderie en allant de l'avant. Mais en gros, c'est ça. J'ai bien hâte de pouvoir avoir les prochaines discussions sur les coûts de faisabilité et d'opération. C'est juste ça. Ça fait que merci pour ce que vous avez fait à date et la présentation.
Councillor Burnett?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. The Aquatic Center is essential, very important part of our community, the whole community, not just us, but all the way to Beldoon and back. And I'm really pleased that we're looking at these possibilities. I prefer option 2. The reason I prefer it is because of the winds. Have you taken into you know, the possibility of winds in the front door, or much, you come out of there soaking wet from a pool, and I've never liked that entrance because of the winds. But down at the side in the Bernie White entrance, I think you're more protected, and for that type of facility, it might be something to consider as to how to deal with that. Parking, the land that we have there's a problem. It's environmentally an issue. If we fill it for a parking lot, we'll probably have to trade off, which you can do now. But we probably can find a way around it. And that was the problem with building the KC Irving in the first place, was getting the land up to code. So it is a possibility, like you said, there seems to be lots of land for parking there. And I like the idea of what you're come up with for the size and the daycare being there, and making that a multi-purpose building. I would like it to even go further and have a farmer's market attached there somewhere along the way, you know, because there's definite need for that as well. So thank you for your presentation. One question I have is, what about the old pool? What do we do with that? Do we put it up for sale?
That'll be another discussion. That's for another meeting.
That's for another day.
That will be for another meeting after this.
Yeah, I bet you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It needs a lot of love.
Except for the moisture.
Merci beaucoup. Est-ce que vous recherchez une réponse de quelle option qu'on préfère pour que ils vont de l'avant avec la proposition, avec le budget?
Ouais,
What?
oui, mais non. Je te dirais que essentiellement oui, mais ce que j'entends ici, nous autres, on avait une préférence. Il y a pas, on semble avoir une préférence autour de la table aussi. Je pense qu'on est correct.
Votre préférence
Vraiment, ouais, nous autres, ce serait l'option 2. C'est celle-là qui offre la meilleure interconnexion spatiale avec le KC Irving. Dans le fond, on a parlé de Bernie White en bas, cette entrée-là. Aussi, tu as ce qui était le Baxter Café en haut. Là. En théorie, on peut connecter de ce côté-là, puis avoir accès aux estrades, la piscine, là, puis on peut réutiliser des espaces qui sont tout de suite un peu moins utilisés. Déjà là, moi, je pense que c'est celle-là qui, selon moi, fonctionnerait le plus. Là, on s'est fait le devoir d'explorer les options, mais de loin, je crois que c'est celle-là qui nous a préférée.
So council option 2, are you okay with them moving forward with option 2? 2? Okay.
Good.
Option 2. We're
settles
good.
it.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
So we're falling under municipal bylaws 3.1, bylaw 2023-05, a bylaw relating to the repeal of bylaw 2005-16, a bylaw relating to hunting in the city of Bathurst. Mr. Pettigrew?
Thank you, Worship. As council, we had a presentation with regards to citizens. I think it was January 9, 2023, and another one in February 2023, where they presented looking for the to review or to take a look at our current bylaw that we had with regards to hunting in the city of Bathurst. We had numerous meetings. We met with Deputy Chief Kamal from the police department, along with DNR officials and retired DNR officials with regards to the regulations and what's in place. And you can see here through our recommendation, a lot of it is covered under the Wildlife Act as well with regards to it actually has more stringent regulations than our current City of Bathurst bylaw with regards to penalties and enforcement. So at this point, we're comfortable looking at rescinding or looking at removing or rescinding that current bylaw, the recommendation. One of the recommendations that comes from the committee and comes from the Department of Natural Resources is we look at the month of September, because September is in between hunting seasons, which would give people enough time to follow the regulations, ensure they have posted land and advise the people. It gives the residents enough time to be able to prepare for it, and it's not in the middle of right in the middle of a hunting season. So that would be the recommendation. And in the meantime, we would prepare some documentation to highlight where that information is for our residents as part of that process, just so they would know where to post it or how to post it, et cetera. But we would work with DNR and work with information to gather information to post it available for our residents as part of our process for the city of Bathurst.
All right, does council have any questions? No, okay. Oh, Councillor Branch.
I guess I have one question. When they made the presentation, they were talking about trapping and that also. So, did the previous bylaw address that, or?
Yeah, it listed that as hunting. That's considered hunting as one of the items. So all the Wildlife Act would cover all of those components as well.
Okay, so people would be able to trap within the city.
They would still follow the trapping regulations and what the setbacks were, et cetera, as per the Wildlife Act.
Okay, thank you.
So, Mr. Pettigrew, when would we move forward with that and for the reading? Next week? We go into it next week, okay. Councillor Burnett?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I think communication is going to be the key here. There's going to be a lot of nervous people when you say we're allowed to hunt again in the city, and we haven't since 2005, is it? So I noticed that we're the only municipality besides Woodstock that had this law in effect. So it's standard across the province. People should realize that they can. There's so many meters from a house and that. So I think communication, I don't know how we can do it, but your magazine that you put together with the department there, that would be a good place to advertise and let people know that what the regulations are and that this is what has to be done in order to hunt within the city. And now that we have North Teddy Goose, South Teddy Goose, back rough waters, etc., it's something we have to do.
Yep.
You know, and also, and we have a very unique city in that we have homes and cottages on the beach. We also have camps in the woods, you know, and that's what do you have when you have a camp? You have hunters that are getting together. So I think it's time. And like in East Bathurst, I think we have about 700 acres of land that belong to the city itself. That's all wooded.
Yep.
You know, so there's another point on that I will bring up later. And one of them is carbon credits, with having so much wooded land within our city. And according to a person from East Bathurst I talked to, he went to a forum on carbon credits just recently in Miramichi, and said the city of Bathurst might be eligible, and that would be good because our fleets that we have sure create carbon, you know. So maybe that's something we have to look at as an outside topic about this too, with the force that we have.
Sounds good. I see Mr. Pettigrew's taking some notes right there, so we're good.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Okay, so we will move forward with that. And what we'll do is on the communication side, when time comes, maybe we can add something to our website for people can go directly, and then it'll have all the information and all the rules and regulations, the provincial rules and regulations that we can add there, so it's an easy access. So if they can't reach out with us. Okay, perfect. Policy review. Proposed repeal of policy 1989-05, recording devices in council chambers. So I go back to you, Mr. Pettigrew.
Thank you, Worship. This is to repeal a policy. We had a policy in place that said that we were allowed to, devices were allowed to record meetings in the council chambers. Since all our public meetings are recording on Facebook, there's no need for this policy because they're all recorded at this point now. So we might as well recommend we repeal the policy.
All right, does council have any questions or objections on this? No? Okay. 4.2, proposed amendment, policy 2003-02, tariff of fees. Mr. Pettigrew.
Thank you, Worship. Well, let the city clerk, she coordinated with, unless she wants to go through it, I'll let her go through those.
Ms. Parker.
We had a few amendments that came in from the Tourism and Recreation and also the Fire Department. So it was included in your packages. The highlight text in red is what would be changing. Just to give a brief overview, changes to the ticket setup section, such as programming, ticketing fees, credit card percentages, and complimentary tickets. Those are some things that changed. There was also some addition of fees for the following: non-seasonal per day, per hour lights. That would be for the fields. as well as the addition of special maintenance request above routine maintenance to differentiate from maintenance requests on Sundays. They kind of grouped it together in last year's tariff, but they're looking to separate them. They would both have a new charge that would be associated. Removal of Commissioner of Oath fee, as we will no longer be offering to the public. It'll be an internal process. And the addition of equipment charges for fire services and increase in gymnasium fee.
All right. Council have any questions? Okay, moving on. 4.3, propose of new policy 2023. Oh, sorry, Councillor Willett. I did not see that. Go right ahead.
Yeah, the increase in gymnasium fees, that's for the groups that are using it now, or? I hope it's not too much of an increase because it's all pretty well non-profit. They're, you know, we're talking about our pickleball courts and.
So the increase was to $25 an hour. I don't know if Mr. Pettigrew has any details on if it's for the existing groups.
Yeah, it would be the new tariff of fees for the rental rate, and I think it was $20 before. So it's a $5 increase, really to cover the costs for the operation, cleaning, janitorial,
Electricity.
et cetera, electricity.
Okay, thank you.
Everything's going up, so. When we get a monthly bill of NB Power of $150,000, everything's going up. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're good? Okay, Mr. Well, yep, okay. So 4.3, propose of new policy 2023-03, flag policy. Mr. Pettigrew?
I think Richard will allow the city clerk to go through that as well.
All right, Ms. Parker?
So this is a recommendation to put a policy in place to replace the existing policy display of flags, which is very vague and doesn't provide much direction or instruction. So this is just to remain consistent and appropriate in accordance to the rules of governing the use of flag standard in New Brunswick. So we will be implementing what the province uses into our own policy. There was also a form that was created, so when we do receive requests to have a flag that's flown in the frontier, we'll have all the information in place. We have, you know, standardized what information we need, what they need to provide, who needs to be there, what time. It's just to make it a little bit easier to organize because there's been a few struggles in the past. And then a resolution would be brought forward next week to replace the existing one with the new one.
All right, any questions? Councillor Burnett?
Thanks, Madam Mayor. When you get down to the part of the flags at half-mast, I was wondering if we could include freemen of the city. It's the highest honor that we can bestow on a citizen, and we do have a list, I think, about 15 freemen of the city still, and if we lose one of them, there are movers and shakers that have made our community what it is, and I was wondering if we could recognize those people as well with the half-mast.
Would council be okay with that? Adding freemen of the city?
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. All right, well, Deputy Mayor Anderson, go right ahead.
A bell just went off in my head. Have the flag at half-mast for the freemen of the city? But don't we just do half-mast if somebody passes away?
If one of the members, what I'm understanding is that out of all the.
Oh, is that what you meant?
Yeah,
Okay,
all
I thought
yes.
you meant if we nominated freemen of the
Yeah.
city, put it at half-mast. I was like, wait, back up. No, we can't do that. But, no, I agree with that. Okay, good, thank you.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, this adjourns our meeting. Thank you for being with us this evening. Bonne soirée à tous.